What up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Fun Boxing with Will. I'm your host, Will, with H2OCO Film and Photo, and today we're going to be doing another review here on the channel. I did a review about 2 weeks ago now on the DJI Mavic Mini, which was my very first drone that I'd ever purchased for more than around $70, so my first real drone. And today's title isn't just clickbait. I spent $1,000 on another DJI drone. I went ahead and picked up the Mavic Air 2. So today we're going to be doing an in-depth review, and I'm going to be showing you guys some footage from that. And yeah, so let's get on into it. Alrighty, so like I said, we're going to be doing this review on the Mavic Air 2, but before we get into that, I just want to thank all my new subscribers that are following me on the channel. If you find any of this information at all interesting or useful, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click the bell notifications for further videos. I'm always putting out tech reviews. I'm a local creator here in Gilbert, Arizona, so I'm always buying new gear, and I figure why not test it out, do some reviews for you guys so you know whether it's worth your hard-earned money. And yeah, I just wanted to really thank you guys for all your support here. I'm only at 37 subscribers now, but to me that's a lot. I'm not doing this for the subscribers. I'm doing it because I really enjoy it, and I feel that it could be useful and helpful to some people out there. So anyways, today we're going to be doing a review, like I said, on the Mavic Air 2. You're going to have to forgive me. I have a really poor memory at times, so I have my script pretty much written out here on my phone. It's just mainly specs and stuff like that. I'm also going to be showing you guys some footage, inserting some footage here and there of some air shots that I took with the drone. I'll go ahead and put that in here and there throughout the video. But anyways, so I went ahead and spent about $1,000. It was I went to Best Buy and I picked up the drone retail for the Fly More kit. I paid $1066.13 for it. I got it home, I opened it up, and I was just pleased with all of the extras that the Fly More kit comes with. It came with ND filters, 256, a 64, and a 32 ND. So I was really impressed with that. I've never gotten a product like a camera or anything like that that came with ND filters, and it probably saved me around $70 or $80 right there just having that in the case. It comes with 3 batteries, the power bank, the charger, 6 extra sets of propellers. Yeah, it's all around a good deal. It's got a carrying case with it too. It's a really nice carrying case. So it was, I think the total value of everything that you get included with the Fly More kit comes out to like $400 or $500 if you were to buy it separately. So it was really impressive. I was really happy with it. But getting into the drone, as I talked about the Mini last week, there were a lot of features the Mini doesn't have. It doesn't have, you know, the obstacle avoidance sensors and stuff like that. So going to the Air 2 is a significant upgrade. The Air 2, going into the specs here, it's got a 48 megapixel half-inch CMOS sensor in it. It does 12 and 48 megapixel photos. In the 48 megapixel, it's really good. I am shocked at how good it is, and I would say if you wanted to take a photo with the 48 megapixel camera in this thing, you can take a photo, you can blow it up, and you can get, like, depending on the scene, you can get 15-20 different photos out of this one photo because of how crystal clear it is when you zoom in on it. So for like landscapes or something out in the desert or a mountain vista, you could get multiple shots from one photo, which is a really unique feature that this has. and I just really enjoy flying the drone. Some of the specs here on the drone, it's super small. It's not as small as the Mini, and it weighs twice as much, if not a little bit more than twice as much. The weight of it comes out to 570 grams, which is quite hefty. It has a top load battery, and so they're saying the dimensions on this thing folded are 180 by 97 by 84 centimeters, and that's seems about right. It's it doesn't look anything like the Mavic Air 1. It looks like the Mavic Pro, but just a little bit smaller. So I really feel like they took this drone and tried to market it. They're trying to find a mid-range drone between the prosumer drone and the pro drone, and this is it. You know, it has most of the features and even some features that the pro drones don't have. Like, this can shoot 4K 60 frames a second, which no other DJI drone can do other than the Phantom. And if you guys follow drones at all, that's like an $1,800 drone for the newest Phantom. So the fact that you can get that feature in this drone with a price point under $1,000, because if you buy just the drone with the controller, it comes out to $799, which is a killer deal. Now they say opened up, the dimensions are 183 by 253 by 77 centimeters, and so I'm going to open this up here for you real quick and show you guys. It is I'd say twice the size of the Mini, easily twice the size of the Mini, and it's a big drone. You know, it's about as big as my head, a little bit bigger than my head. The propellers on it are low noise propellers, so it's surprisingly quiet for as big as it is. I know that I've tested it up against the Mavic Air, and it's quieter than the Mavic Air 1. So that is a big surprise. I don't know exactly what the technology and the propellers behind that is, but it's pretty awesome. It's a pretty nice feature to have something so massive have such a quiet imprint when you're flying around. Some of the other specs here that it has 3 modes. It has tripod mode, sports mode, and normal mode, and it goes pretty fast. Now, I found from what I've seen on the input from the controller and what I've seen on their website that there is a slight difference. On the website, it says that it goes in, let's see here, in normal mode, they say it goes, or I'm sorry, in sports mode, they say 19 meters, which comes out to 42.502 miles per hour. And then they say in normal mode, you're going to go down to, let's see here, 11.4 meters, which comes out to about 18 miles an hour. And then you're going to hit in the tripod mode, it looks like 10 meters a second. So that comes out to 6.214 miles an hour. That's what the website says. Now, personally, I've noticed I get about 40 miles an hour out of it, top speed. I get about half that, 25 miles an hour, well, a little bit more than half that, like 25 miles an hour in normal mode. And then when I kick it down to tripod mode, I'm noticing at about 11 mile an hour on the controller, because it tells you, the bottom left-hand corner will tell you your actual speed. They say it has a max wind resistance of 10.5 meters per second, or 23 miles an hour, and I believe that that's pretty accurate. I've not really flown it on too windy of a day here and there, but a little bit of wind here and there, and you can't always judge when you're 100 feet in the air what the wind gusts up there are in comparison to what you're feeling down on the ground. So I know that it can be different and it's hard to judge that, but I don't think I've put it in winds over 20 miles an hour. I've noticed no issues with veering off, or, you know, it stays where I put it even on somewhat of a windy day, so it's very capable in wind. Some of the other things on it, it has a 34-minute lifetime per battery, so they always say that, and they also say that you should land it between 25 and 35% battery. So I've really noticed, if I'm going to land at 25% battery, an actual flight time of around 25 minutes or so. I could probably get a full 34 minutes out of it if I pushed it to 0% on my battery, but I've heard that can kill the life of your battery, and you'll destroy your batteries within the matter of months if you continuously fly like that, so I try not to. Some of the other awesome things is it has 8 gigs of internal storage. It runs off a single compass and a single IMU. The battery weight itself, it's 570 grams, the whole unit, but 198 of that is the battery. So when you take the battery out, it is significantly lighter. The camera specs, like I said, it has a 1/2-inch CMOS sensor, 12 and 48 megapixels with an 84-degree or 24mm focal length range. It has a fixed aperture. That's one thing I would have liked to have seen, was a variable aperture, but it's a fixed aperture at 2.8 f-stop. It's still amazing though. The camera, it's the best camera I've ever seen on a drone. It's got modes of footage. Okay, so the modes, the footage modes, there are so many features in this camera. It blows my mind, and I'm gonna try to show you. Actually, I'm gonna wait until the end of the video, and I'm just gonna label them and show you some of the clips that I have. That way I can do everything all at once instead of going through the video footage while I'm talking. But it's got all your standards for a good camera. It's got your overexposure zebra lines. It's got your histogram. You know, you can bring all those things up. It also has this new system in it. Before I get into the camera modes, it's got this new ADS-B system in it, and it's AirSense. And what that does is, in real time, while I'm flying the drone, it will give me an alert if a manned aircraft enters the local vicinity. I believe it's like a 5-mile radius. You'll get a little orange alert, and then all of a sudden in the lower left-hand corner of your screen, your map will grow a little bit, and you'll see that there's an orange plane flying around, and it'll tell you where it is, how fast it's going, and show you in real time where it's at so you can avoid collisions. I guess it's going to be standard in DJI's drones from now on. It's going to be a feature that they put into all of their drones, and this is the first drone to have it. It can be kind of annoying, always having it, depending on your location, if you have a lot of air traffic. So you can turn it off though, so that's a good advantage of it. Another thing that I've noticed about this drone that's different than, like, let's say the Mini, is it has LED lights underneath the bottom. Each leg has a fixed light, and then there is a like, you can control it, turn it on or off, LED that's pretty dang bright on the bottom center of the drone itself right here. And this light right here is, they say it's a landing light. I wouldn't want to fly around with it all night because it will drain your battery faster, but if you needed to see a bigger, brighter light than just what they give you with the position legs, the lights on the legs, it really is a really bright LED. So with it, it's not hard at all to track your drone at night. I only personally use it for landing at night so that I can illuminate my ground and see where I'm landing. It works great. But getting back to the camera modes, so we have hyperlapse modes, we have timed shots, we have panoramics, we have intelligent quick shots. And so in the video side of things, you have 1080p, 2.7K, 4K. You have HDR mode, and you have smart photo. So when you're doing the, let's say, okay, you're doing a 48 megapixel photo, it will crop the photo down through the camera on the view, but once you take the photo, you'll be able to zoom in 100 times with the 48 megapixel. The HDR mode is exactly what it sounds like. It's HDR. 8K hyperlapses can only be shot in free quick shot or free hyperlapse mode, and I believe it's waypoint hyperlapse mode. And it does take a massive percent of the battery to get a 15-second hyperlapse. It takes about 15 minutes to shoot. One of the things about the 8K time lapse that I found to be kind of annoying is that my cell phone is one of the newest cell phones on the market. It's not the most up-to-date Samsung, but it's the second. It's a year-old Samsung. It's the S10 Plus 5G. It films in 4K. I cannot play back the 8K hyperlapses though, unless I put them into my PC, because my computer or my phone, my chip in my phone, can't process them. I've also noticed that they will not upload to Facebook because the video rate and the resolution is just too high quality for Facebook. So that's a downside to the 8K hyperlapse, is if you can't view it anywhere, what's the point in taking it? That's one downside that I found about the drone that I didn't really particularly care for. I'm going to be showing you some of the hyperlapses from the 1080p hyperlapse at the end of this video here. And it also has normal color code, which is DJI color, and then it also has D-Cinelog, which it's a flatter profile for post and color grading. It tones down all the contrast and the saturation of all the colors and the sharpness, so that it gives you more range when you're in post to color grade, and I love it. I film most of my footage with the D-Log. It's really awesome to see that in a drone. Another feature that it has with the waypoints is you can set it up to where you point the gimbal at a target. You set it up on the map 3 separate targets, and then do the hyperlapse and press start, and it will intelligently fly to your first marker while it's taking photos at different intervals, and then it'll fly to your second marker, continuing to do so, and to your third marker, all the while taking photos. The hyperlapses are amazing. I love the hyperlapses. It shoots RAW and JPEG, MOV and MP4 format. It also uses H.264 and newer H.265 codecs. So if you have an up-to-date computer that's able to handle the 265 format, you're going to get a lot better resolution and image quality through using that format, and you can choose. Another really big change that they've made to the Air 2 is that it doesn't operate off of a Wi-Fi signal anymore. It operates off of something called OcuSync technology, and it has a new remote. I love this new remote. It's amazing. The only thing I don't like about it is the weight. After a while it feels like you're carrying a brick around. But other than the weight, this remote, I believe, is an improvement upon the standard DJI remote in every way. So far, since I've owned the Mini for a month now, I've lost 2 of these cords that you need to fly your drone. There's a little tiny USB-C to USB-C cord that plugs into your controller, and I lost one at a park, and I lost one somewhere in my car. So I really didn't like that idea that you had to keep track of this small tiny cord to fly the drone, and I lose things all the time. So in this new drone controller, the phone holder is on the top. The phone holder doubles as an antenna as well, so you don't have the 2 little separate antennas getting in everything's way anymore. And then your cord is actually hidden right in here, and it's attached to the controller. So you just unplug the back end of the cord, you pull it out, plug it into your phone while your phone's on the top of this thing that just extends. It can fit dang near any smartphone on the market. And then you always have your cord with you. You never have to worry about misplacing or losing that cord, which for me is a lifesaver. They've changed out the layout on it a little bit. It comes with metal handles instead of the plastic handles. They're still unscrewable, so you can take the handle off and then store it in the bottom of the controller right here, just like the old controllers. They minimized the buttons on this thing though. There's a function button here on the top left-hand corner, and you can program it to different functions if you want. Personally, I have it set up to turn on and off the light, and then to recenter my gimbal in flight. Then there is the camera mode button in the top right hand corner, and this simply switches your camera from video recording to photo. Your top right bumper has your start and stop or photo button there, and then your top left bumper is a spring-loaded scroll dial to move your gimbal up and down as you see fit while you're filming. Then there's the return to home button, is a physical button on the controller, and the power button is on the controller as well. And then there is a physical switch now for your sports mode, normal mode, and tripod mode, as opposed to having it on the touch screen as in with the older app. The great thing about the OcuSync 2.0 is the range is insane. So they quote, or they boast a 2.5 mile range with the Mavic Mini. Now, you have to be in direct line of sight with it, and there can't really be any structures in between you and the drone for this to be effective. And even then, at a certain distance, you'll start to get signal breakup, you'll start to get a little bit of lag in your video, which if you're flying in tight, narrow spaces or near buildings or mountains or things like that of that nature, losing your video feed for a half a second can be detrimental, especially with a drone that has no obstacle avoidance sensors. So for me personally, the fact that this new OcuSync technology leaves you with no lag time, zero lag time, I think they say the lag is 1/20th of a millisecond on this new controller, and it boasts a 6-mile or 10-kilometer range. Now, from what I've used it for, I'm too afraid, without having somebody in a car driving under my drone, following it so that I can have a spotter keeping it in legal line of sight, I'm too afraid to just take off with it and let it go 6 miles down the road. I'll tell you this though, I've flown it about 1.5 miles away from my home in really high Wi-Fi congested areas. Didn't have a single issue with it whatsoever. So when they say 6 miles is what it's capable of, I have a tendency to believe them. This new OcuSync technology is the best wireless transmission technology I've seen, hands down. The drone has Active Track 3.0, which is an upgrade from the last Pro drone that they put out. And I've noticed that in lower light it will lose track of people and subjects a little bit. But for the most part, it does an amazing job. I've even had instances where I've walked behind bushes and it loses track of me for a second. But as soon as I pop out on that other side of that bush, that sensor's right back on me and the drone's moving around. So all in all together, I found it to be an amazing upgrade. I love flying it. All of the features that it has. Now, I didn't go in depth over every single camera feature. There's way too many to go over in the video. But if you are a new drone, like a new drone user, you're new to drones, and you're looking for something that's easy to fly and will give you complete professional quality, this is the way to go. The only difference between setting this up than my Mavic Mini is this is a 570-gram drone. So legally you are required to register yourself with the FAA and get a drone ID number, kind of like a license plate for your drone. I'm assuming it's in case you crash or cause property damage or something like that, that they have a way to track who was flying the drone. And you have to have it on the side of the drone at all times. So I went out and bought a label maker, got on the FAA website. It took about 5 minutes. I got myself registered, got my personal identification number, which is, I was told, good for 3 years. And then you have to actually display it on the drone physically. So that was the only difference between this and the Mavic Mini. You don't have to do that with the Mini because, as I said, it is under 249 grams, which is the cutoff limit for the legal laws in the USA. So I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5 stars, man. I am so thrilled to have it in my arsenal and in my camera bag, and I have literally done nothing but play with it for the last week since I've gotten it. I picked it up from Best Buy and had it mailed to my house, so there was quite a massive stressful week that I had to deal with waiting for this thing to come, and it was 5 days late, so that was no fun. But like I said, if you're looking to upgrade from the Mini, or if you've never even owned a drone before in your life, I would definitely suggest this. Now, if your budget doesn't allow for $1,000 for a drone, then, I mean, by all means go with the Mini. The Mini is an amazing drone. It is very capable for what it is. I don't have any complaints with the Mini at all. I love it, you know, and even though that I have this Mavic Air 2, I really feel like I'm going to continue to use the Mini because there are situations where it's convenient to have a smaller, more nimble and agile drone, and then there's situations where you want something more industrial. But for being a 249 gram drone, you can get professional looking footage from that too. The Mini has a 2.7K camera in it and a lot of the same features that this nicer drone does. So like I said, 5 out of 5 stars. And if anybody has any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comments section. I read every one of my comments and I always return questions, answer questions that I get there. Other than that, I'm just going to leave you with some footage that I've taken with the drone. I'll go ahead and label the footage when you're watching it so you know what photo mode or camera mode the footage is in. And other than that, I just want you guys to have a great day until next time, and stay creative, my friends.